can women be initiated into IFA? So definitely, you can be initiated as a female. It is a different process as males, regardless of, well, I'm going to say this, initiation. It is somewhat of a different process. Most of it is the same, but there are some changes that go on within the process because a woman can't go in and witness her act or do in the same way as a man can. And that's within Isheshe, again, the tradition as it is in West Africa. Now, some of the diaspora traditions, like I said before, the Lukumi, the Santeria, they do allow women to be initiated, but there are likewise some restrictions in that process as well. That being said, women are restricted from becoming priestesses in some of the houses within the Lukumi Santeria. Most from what I know, there may be some that do allow it, but from what I hear and what I've talked to people directly, I've been told that women cannot, serve in their role as an Ifa priestess. I think they can serve as priestesses of certain orishas. I'm not quite sure about that part, but you would have to consult with those traditions to know, because I am not an expert in those other traditions. What age do you need to be in order to undergo the process of Ifa initiation? So there's no fixed age. It's more so about your level of understanding. A young child can absolutely go through the process as long as they can do certain things, especially they need to be able to talk, because at points they'll need to be able to recite certain things. If they can follow basic directions and things like that, they can absolutely go through the process of Ifa initiation. All right. So that's pretty much the caveat there. Of course, that does play out differently in the diaspora than it typically does in West Africa, just because of the fact that people in West Africa are typically born into the tradition. So they do tend to initiate much earlier, very young ages than individuals in the diaspora. In the diaspora, you'll see people coming into the tradition really late in life. And so obviously they will initiate later in life. It's nothing to see somebody in their 50s, 60s, 70s go through initiation processes throughout the diaspora, because for a lot of their life, they probably were practicing something completely different. And once they learn about the tradition, they decide to integrate it into it in that way. Does everyone have to initiate to practice Ifa? No, and I've said this several times before, guys. You do not have to be initiated in order to practice the tradition, okay? You can absolutely maintain a very strong relationship and connection with Ifa, with the tradition, with other orishas, without going through the full process of initiation, even so without getting the icons. It is up to you, okay? In some cases, you have people who have very active practices who never go down the path of initiation, who never acquire an icon. Your level of practice, and how you connect with the tradition is the most important thing. It's not that Ifa initiation is not important and it won't bring you some major benefits, because it absolutely will. But the initiation process is just that, it's a process. It's a ceremony. You still have to maintain ongoing commitments thereafter. It is not just, hey, we're going to just move forward or what have you and do this process and then everything's good in your life.